What's up guys, this is Teddy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video we're going to be testing dates, objects, and IEnumerables and XUnit. And the way that we're going to be doing that is we're going to build out the rest of our functions. We're just going to be writing very simple stubs or essentially fake functions in order to return various reference type objects. We're going to test them over here in XUnit. And we're also going to be learning about SUTs, or system under test. And let's actually begin with the SUT first. This is actually often referred to as a system under test. This is actually a SUT right here, technically. But when people refer to SUTs, what they're normally referring to is you take this arrange, or you take this newing up object. As you can see here, we're newing up this object, and we're having to do this in every single test. And if you're doing this in every single test, you want to put this inside of the control or the constructor up here. And the way that you do that, and a lot of times you'll see this abbreviated as you'll have a comment right here, and you'll have SUT, and under here is where you're going to actually put the service. So we're going to call this the ping service. You can call it the network service, it doesn't really matter. And we're going to we're going to new it up here, and then we're going to actually put this inside of a property or a field up above it. So we'll go private, read only, then we're going to have network service, and we're going to actually call this, I want to call it ping service. I think that's a little bit more appropriately named. We can still call it the network service. You can call it the network service. You can call it whatever you want to. It really doesn't matter. But just in this case, I think I'm going to call it a ping service. So we've already got that newed up, and we've got We've got our actual we've got our object of this network service inside of our constructor, and our constructor is initializing it and putting it up here so that we can have it globally available. If you've ever kind of wondered, why do we put stuff inside of a constructor sometimes? It's because you want it, more than likely, you want it globally available. And to do that, or after we've done that, we don't have to have this thing newed up every single time. We can actually have it down here, and it looks a lot cleaner. It's a lot less redundant, and each one we can bring in to the test and not have it, kind of just chilling there and have all that redundancy, because it does kind of look a little, I don't know, less than optimal. You could swing it. It looks okay, but if you can get away with it, you want to put it up in the constructor. Okay, so first let's test a date time. And once again, these are totally, you could call this the Pokemon function if you want to. You could call it literally whatever you want to, but I am going to call it date time, and I am going to call it the last ping date. Like, let's just say for some crazy reason, we want the user to be able to return the last ping date, and that ping date is always the date time. Now, this is never going to occur, but once again, just kind of bear with me. I'm just trying to illustrate how we actually test each and every object. And because we don't actually have any inputs in here, and we don't actually have any data that we're passing inside of this function right here, we're going to just copy this fact. Well, the fact is actually the most simple. Theory is a little bit, I guess, it's not that much more complicated, but it's a little bit more complicated. And that's where, when you have a theory, that's when you can put inline data. So just whenever you see theory, think inline data and think that you can actually pass stuff into it. And then in here, we're going to last ping date, and we're going to return date. We're not actually returning a string, so our expected result is going to be that we return a date. And right here, our last ping date is going to be that instead of that. And when we do that, thank God, because Fluent Assertions is going to give us all types of great type checking. So once we change that and it detects that it's bringing back a date time, it's going to break everything, and you're going to have to change it. And that's honestly, it's kind of a good thing. Okay, so now you want to, I've already got these date times figured out for you guys, and you don't have to actually go to the Fluent Assertions website, but if you want to, and maybe you want to kind of maybe do your own due diligence and maybe take a look at some other stuff, feel free to do that. And we're going to test this state by having a should before and a should after. So we're going to have a should before, should after. And with inside of this, we are going to pass in this. So we're going to have these neat little extension methods that Fluent Assertion gives us, and we need this date to occur after January 2010, which obviously today's date, since it's returning date time now, is going to be the correct date because it is after 2010. But it also, we're just going to come in here, we're going to add some of these Fluent Assertion. And Fluent Assertion, once again, gives you all these cool little extension methods, which is really awesome. So we're going to go in here and we're going to say 2030. So this date, the date that returns back has to be in between these two dates. And maybe if you're watching this 10 years into the future, that would be really cool. This test might fail, but for now it should pass. And I'm going to go ahead and run it. So whenever you want to run a test, you just right click it, you just run the test. You want to make sure that it works. You want to make sure that's detected and everything passes and we're good to go. Also, if you fail a test, like what happens, like can you debug a test? Absolutely, you can debug a test. And in fact, I highly encourage you to debug tests. So if you want to debug a test, you put a breakpoint and it will actually go through and debug everything for you. So you get your nice little result back. You can see there, it brings back in that cool little date, does all the Fluent assertions, and we have our test running. So we're going to go back down here and then we're going to add, now we're going to test an object. So testing an object really isn't that much different. You could make your own object if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to go in here and you wanted to create your own model and you wanted to test an object, maybe return this, maybe return a model from your domain. I guess you could do that. That makes sense. But for this case, I just grabbed like some random object thing that I found inside of the Ping library in C#, and this is actually made by Microsoft. This wasn't made by me, and I'm just going to fill it with some bogus values and return it and just kind of use that as a object. And even though it's not supposed to be done like that, and it's more, this Ping options thing is more so supposed to be used for actually putting into, like it's like a options table, or it's like an options object that you just pass into the actual Ping and works. But I'm going to use it as just like this object that I'm going to use to return. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to return true. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go TTL, which just stands for time to live, TTL, and then I'm going to give this a 1. Don't make that a 0. If you give it a 0, it will error for some reason. And then I'm going to bring it in. It's going to, this is actually coming from system. If you can hover over it, you can, if you want to go inside of it, you can right click, go to F12, and you can actually go inside of it and you can see all the actual properties that are in the object and kind of see like what it looks like. But nothing exciting. It's just like an object with 2 properties inside of it. It's not very cool. Okay, so now we're actually, once again, we're going to go down here, very easy. We're going to create this test. Test always return void. There could be certain circumstances, but every single test I've ever seen always returns void, and we're just going to return it right here. So last Ping date. Actually, this is in the network service, so we're going, you want the class first. So we're going to go to here, network service, get Ping options. Then we're going to go in here, and what is the expected? And I'm just going to say it returns object. That is the expected use case that I am going to expect. So arrange, do we have anything we need to arrange? I need to comment that out. I don't think so. I actually don't think we need anything to arrange. Okay, so let's go act. And it helps to kind of type these out. I think it helps a little bit to type these out. And we're going to go result is equal to ping service dot. We're going to bring in this function, ping options. Then we're going to go down here and we're going to start. wiring up our assertions. With objects, it's very apparent, and I'm just going to put warning. Be careful. Be careful. And I'm going to put quotations around the B. It's just kind of like a funny play on words. So when you assert, you can use be and should be, but you have to be careful because this is comparing. I think the term would be strict equality. If it's not right, strict equality. Basically, if you are trying to compare two numbers, you can use be. But if you are comparing reference types, if you're comparing objects, you need to use be equivalent to. And actually before this, I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to check for the type. Whenever you're getting an object back, you usually want to check the type first. I think it's one of the most common things to check for the type. So at least at the very littlest, you want it to be a ping options. You don't really care what's inside of it, but 99% of the time you also kind of want to check like what's inside of the object, and that's when you have to be careful of be equivalent to and be you need to know the difference between those. And whenever you're using be equivalent to, that's when you need to use, or whenever you have an object, that's when you need to use be equivalent to. And I actually forgot something. We need to arrange something up here. We need our expected result. And the way, or what you pass into be equivalent to is going to be, you can either fake it, you could fake this, or you could just make the object. It really doesn't matter. And in this case, I'm just going to create the object. And we haven't talked about faking yet, but you would use fake it easy. I'm a big proponent of fake it easy, and we'll talk more about fake it easy in the next video. And I'll talk more about that, talk about mocking and faking. So I'm gonna go in here, we're gonna go, and then also very important is that you can reach inside of the property, you can reach inside the object, and you can actually check the result. So our result dot TTL should be, and in our case it should be 1. And that's pretty much the all the tests that we're going to need to run, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to run this test and see if it's working. I hope it works. Expected result to be 3 but found 1. Oh, okay, yeah, we're going to change that to 1. So good thing we actually ran that test because our test failed. Expected property do not fragment to be false but found true. Okay, so yeah, it does need to be false because this is actually it's actually returning true. So our unit tests are in fact working. We're finding out all types of cool things about our functions. Okay, so hopefully so that test passed. Now we can move on to the IEnumerable, and this is going to be very similar to like a list, or this is going to be similar to just a collection. This is going to just be a regular collection, and we're going to return a collection of these ping objects. So I'm going to go down here. We're going to go public. We're going to go IEnumerable, and we're going to return an IEnumerable of all these objects, and we'll call this most recent pings, and it's going to return the last three recent pings. Then we're going to go down here. We're going to go IEnumerable. Then we're going to pass in these ping options. Then we're going to go ping options. Then we're going to go new. Then we're going to go in here. And we can actually just go in here. And I'm actually just going to copy this. No way, Jose, am I going to type all of this out? That would be ludicrous. So go in here. I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to actually return that into a comma. Then I'm going to go up here. Then I'm going to copy and paste a couple of these, and I hope that these things work. and I turned on insert by accident. So I'm gonna go here. Okay, then I'm gonna put one more. And all of these are gonna be the same, just to kind of not have so much redundancy. Then let me see. Hold on. I'm missing a comma somewhere. All right, so got this. Got that. And we go down here. Put that. Then after that, we're gonna go return. Then we're gonna return our IEnumerable. Then I'm gonna move that up there because that's bothering me. Okay, great. Now, this is gonna be the last one, and then we're going to talk about mocking in the next video. So that will be exciting. So fact, let's get our most recent pings. We're gonna take that out of there. Most recent pings. Our expected, so I think we can leave that expected there. We can leave that arranged there, and we need to get rid of this. We actually need to change that to that. Should be of type. Hold on. I think we could actually do a little bit better. So let's just do a little bit. We can do a type check. That actually makes a lot of sense, and that's just an easy one we can kind of plug into. And for this one, because it is a collection, it can't be B. B equivalent to is you're comparing an object. And for this one, let me see. Should contain equivalent of, and that's a 2, so it should be of expected. And we can also, I found a better one that would probably make a little bit more sense for a collection, and something in this collection should contain x dot don't fragment is equal to true. Like one of these should equal true, and I think that that's a decent little test. You could make it more strict than this. You could make it less strict. It's going to depend mostly on the scenario, but this kind of works for our case. It's just you have to do these things on a case-by-case basis, and you can't really judge them. Okay, so we're getting all types of so system.net.ping should contain equivalent of, I'm trying to figure out where it actually errored at. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to run this debugger, and I don't even see where it errored. So we're going down here, looks like it creates the object. We're going to step in, it's going to go in here. So it's returning this. We're going down. IEnumerable should be of type IEnumerable. Expected collections IEnumerable, but got, let me see here, should be of type ping options. That one looks like it is not wanting to go through, and I'm trying to figure out like what exactly is going on here. So I'm going to actually pull up fluent assertions here because I kind of want to figure it out, but if it goes on too long, I won't, but I'm gonna try and figure it out. So we'll just type in some real-time debugging exciting stuff of type B of type, fluent assertions B of type. So here, B of type string. Okay, so should be of type exception. Be binary serializable, be the same as B of type. Okay, I don't think I understand B of type fully, and I would have to go back and kind of research that. So we'll just leave that one out because this video is kind of dragging on a little bit, and we need to start talking about mocking. If you want to go back and check that one out, definitely feel free to go for it. But since this is just we're just learning, we can do away with this test, and hopefully this test will run. So looks like all of our tests run. Let me see here. Also, if you know what the issue is, feel free to type it down in the comments, because that would definitely that would be nice. But let's go ahead, run all the tests, make sure all our tests run, and then after this, we're going to start talking about mocking. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and as always, thank you for watching.